Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Boom, let's do this. Justice is coming. They're beginning to project, the deep state to start to project things with Huber, Durham, Barr, but the facts and evidence just may not add up.
On Clinton. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. But first, it seems that through a new lawsuit, it claims that Rod Rosenstein led a task force that spied on Sharyl Attkisson's computers. Now, in this federal lawsuit, Rod Rosenstein has been implicated in yet another improper government spy operation. In the new
The thing is, there are a lot of illegal government operations, spy operations, that we don't know about. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
complaint, Attkisson versus Rosenstein, investigative journalist Sharyl Attkisson names former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and 4 other Justice Department officials as the government agents who illegally surveilled her electronic devices. Now, according to the complaint filed in the United States District Court in Baltimore, Maryland, Rosenstein led a multi-agency task force in Baltimore that conducted surveillance of the Atkinson's computer systems and used
Notice on here, though, unknown named agents 1 through 50 of Department of Justice in their individual capacities. Huh.
United States Postal Service IP addresses on other occasions to conduct operations. And they just didn't spy on her. They spied on her husband, her children, and multiple forensic exams show that numerous electronic devices used by Atkinson and her family during this time frame were hacked or remotely compromised. Unauthorized parties used government internet protocol addresses to access Atkinson's computers, placed government surveillance spyware on her devices, and illegally accessed her professional and personal information over an extended period of time. Now, 2 of the 3 judges ruled that Atkinson's claim should be dismissed because she took too long, 3 years, and without success, to determine the names of these individuals. The reason for this is because they wouldn't hand over the names. So she had to do detective work, and she found out that it was Rod Rosenstein. She also found out.
Now, I need to know that this was 2 of the 3 judges wanted to dismiss it because it took so long to do it, but they wouldn't give her the information. She had to do her own investigative researching. But they didn't look at that. I don't know what the other judge is going to do, but this needs to be looked at more carefully, obviously.
Other individuals involved, and these people are Sean Henry, Sean Wesley Bridges, Robert Clark, and Ryan White. And the judge right now is looking at this, saying, what happened here? And like we said, this group under Mueller, they have spied on many individuals. And if we go back through time.
Okay, so he says that this group under Mueller spied on many individuals. This is just, like I said, the tip of the iceberg. This is a bad habit that needs to be nipped in the bud.
I'm sure we're going to find out a lot about who spied on who. Remember, it's not just Trump. They spied on everyone.
Come back to this in just a moment. All right, so let's go on with this.
They used blackmail on judges, politicians, you name it. Now, like we said in the beginning of this report,
and not only has the Steve State used blackmail on the judges, even the Supreme Court with the Roberts and other individuals have been blackmailed and switched decisions on different things. Senators, governors, state authorities, congressmen, even they've blackmailed and done things with the presidents. So, pretty ugly.
Washington Post is now projecting to get ahead of what is coming. Now, this is the headline. Justice Department winds down Clinton-related inquiry once championed by Trump. It found nothing of consequence. Now, like we said before, they did this with the IG Pfizer report. Why are they using the same exact tactic?
Now this is interesting. This is again foolishness.
No identity, no names. They're anonymous. The people that really don't exist. And if you read part of the article, it says a Justice Department inquiry launched more than 2 years ago to mollify conservatives clamoring for more investigations of Hillary Clinton has effectively ended with no tangible results. And then one paragraph later, it says, though the assignment has not formally ended and no official notice has been sent to the Justice Department or to lawmakers, these people said. So they're saying that it has ended, and then a little bit later, they're saying it hasn't ended, and there is no formal notification. So what the Washington Post is saying is that it has ended, but it hasn't ended. And this is coming from people that really don't exist. If you notice, they can't back any of this up.
They don't have any support. There's another fake agenda. Let's move on.
Sessions with the same mandate, authority. Do you believe in coincidences? 5 by 5. Be ready, Patriots. Then let's go back to post 2604. And Anon says, so Huber is a head fake. If so, brilliant, Q. Q says false. Huber will bring severe pain to D.C. Sessions' forced release of name of Huber to House created another variable. Use logic. Why would we tell you the plan if in doing so alerts those who we are actively engaged in hunting? You are witnessing firsthand the demise of those in power, brackets bold old guard. Those who push simply have no grasp of reality. Those who push simply don't understand warfare tactics. Emotions cloud judgment. Emotions cloud logic.
So Huber wasn't a head fake. He's going to bring severe pain to D.C. I think this is just the surface stuff. I think there's a lot deeper stuff going on here than we know about. There's always more going on behind the closed doors. Let's go on here.
Did they get Trump's tax returns? No. Did they get the grand jury information? No, because if they did get any of that, it would have been all over the mainstream media. They didn't get any of that. So why the rush now all of a sudden? Well, it seems that McConnell signed off on the Howley resolution, and it gave Pelosi 25 days to turn over the articles of impeachment. So now she has to turn them over, or the Senate's going to say, guess what? We reject all of this, and they'll end it. And she knows it. She is trapped. Now let's move on to Flynn.
This isn't exactly true. There are rumors claiming that they will have a trial anyhow, and they'll bring in their own witnesses. So that's not exactly true. We don't know yet if it's going to go into a trial or if it's going to end it. They haven't really made that clear yet.
Again here. The corrupt history of Flynn prosecutor Brandon Van Grack from the special counsel's office to the prosecution of Flynn. As a member of Team Mueller, Van Grack was involved in improperly obtaining Trump transition team emails, comms from GSA, including privileged materials. He hid the extent of the intrusion from Trump transition team lawyers. Van Grack confirmed that the special counsel's office had failed to use.
Let me say.
All right, so what else is he doing with Technofog? It's one of his sources.
Team, and it said simply review the privileged communications contained in the transition team materials. Van Grack failed to correct the record or disclose that they were in possession of and had accessed a significant volume of privileged materials.
Again, all this stuff that's been left out, this is going to come back and bite them in the butt legally sometime. Some judge is going to pick this up, and they're going to get kicked like they never wanted.
Who's going to tell them that? No one. This was done on purpose. Think about how dangerous this is. Think about it. Every state decided to do this, and I believe there's 16 states that issue driver's licenses that are going to follow this path. Think about it. If every state decided to do this, you can manipulate elections, couldn't you? So let's think about this for a second.
Yeah, electronic, I used to think it was great, but I think now with an electronic manipulation, it would be really, really bad. We need to we need to go back to physical ballots, period, and get rid of electrical ballots, period. And that should be a federal law. The states decide what they're going to do, get rid of the electrical ballots in the states.
Watch and their analysis. What did they find? Well, they found that 378 counties nationwide that have more voter registrations than citizens living there and old enough to vote.
So voting fraud is a major issue, and I don't know if we're ever going to get wrapped around it like we need.
Senate never passed it. Obama was going to sign off on it. And then we would have a huge database, and the UN was going to dictate who gets a firearm, who is allowed to possess a firearm, and what kind of firearm.
Again, the UN sucks, and it needs to be broken up, defunded, and separated.
Just passed this War Powers resolution, and Kevin McCarthy is out there saying that Nancy Pelosi is once again attempting to create the image of something that doesn't actually exist, and her DNC media scribes are more than willing to sell it.
Of course. She doesn't have authority to do that anyhow. We've already talked about in the other video. The President has full authority since 9/11 to go after terrorists, and we talked about that in a previous video. And I forget who was the source on that. I think that was Dr. Dave Janda, I think, talked about that. Let's go back and look at that video.
Nukes. When asked what Iran was going to do with all that material, State Department spokesman said, I'm not going
130 tons of uranium, enough to make 10 nukes. They need to stop that, nip that in the bud. Terrorist regime.
to speculate one way or another. So what were they going to do with all this uranium? Why was it being shipped over? Well, this is part of the scandal.
Yep, this should have never happened, not to a terrorist regime. That's all going to come out in time. We're going to end it here. There's so much going on behind the scenes. We're only going to hear about it in time through legal courts and other things, if it gets there. If it gets there. Finish Roger Mark from Village, Montana. Justice is slow, but it is coming. Good day.